The streets of the alien city were alive with strange lights and sounds. Towering buildings of glass and metal shimmered under the twin suns, and hovering vehicles moved quickly through the sky. Aliens of many shapes and colors walked the streets, some chatting in musical voices, some carrying glowing devices. The city was full of energy, but not everyone was welcome here. In a narrow alley, a small figure moved slowly. She was a young alien girl named Zyra. Her skin was pale blue, her hair silver like moonlight, and her eyes were large and unseeing. Zyra could not see. She moved carefully, her hands reaching out in front of her, fingers brushing against walls and doorways. Every step was uncertain. Every sound around her was a mystery she could not understand. Other aliens noticed her immediately. They whispered to each other and pointed. "Look at her. She is useless," one alien laughed. "She bumps into everything," another said. Zyra kept moving, trying not to pay attention, but the mocking voices grew louder. Some aliens stepped aside, letting her pass, while others blocked her path, smiling cruelly. Zyra hit a wall hard. She stumbled and fell on her knees. A group of older aliens laughed. One of them tapped her lightly on the shoulder and said, "Watch where you are going, weakling. The streets are not for you." Zyra felt her face burn. She wanted to hide, but she had nowhere to go. The city was too large and too confusing. Far above the crowd, a human boy watched quietly. His name was Ethan. He was tall for his age, with dark hair and sharp eyes that seemed to notice everything. Humans were rare in this city, and many aliens did not trust them. But Ethan did not care about what the others thought. He saw Zyra struggling and felt a strange pull in his chest. He wanted to help her. Ethan stepped down from the walkway and approached the alley. The aliens nearby turned to him, frowning. "Why do you care about her?" one asked. "She is blind. She will always be weak." Ethan said nothing. He just walked toward Zyra. She flinched at the sound of his steps, unsure if he would laugh like the others. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked gently. His voice was soft, calm. Zyra shook her head. She could not speak well in front of strangers. Her voice was small and shaky, but she managed to whisper, I cannot see." Ethan knelt beside her. "I know," he said. "But maybe I can help you." Zyra looked at him, unsure. She had never met a human before. Most humans she had heard about were just visitors who did not care about aliens. But Ethan's eyes were kind. They were full of something different, something she could not name. "Here, take my hand," Ethan said. Zyra hesitated. She had been hurt before. Aliens laughed at her when she touched things. But something in Ethan's voice made her trust him. She reached out slowly and their hands met. It felt strange but safe. Ethan guided Zyra through the alley. He told her about the walls, the doors, and the steps. "There is a doorway here," he said. "And a small step. Step carefully." Zyra listened. She could not see, but she could hear his voice clearly. She felt his hand guiding her. Step by step, she began to move more confidently. The aliens watching frowned. "Why is he helping her?" one muttered. "She is just a weakling. Why waste time?" But Ethan did not answer. He continued helping Zyra, speaking in calm, steady words. The girl began to smile just a little. For the first time in the city, she felt that someone cared about her. Then a group of boys came closer. They were bigger and stronger than Zyra. "Ah, look at her now. She still can't see," one of them shouted. Zyra froze. She felt fear rising inside her chest. But Ethan did not let go of her hand. "Ignore them," he said. "You are stronger than they think." Zyra took a deep breath. She moved forward again, listening to Ethan's voice. The boys tried to push her, but Ethan stood in front, his presence protective. "Back off," he said firmly. The boys stared at him, surprised that a human spoke with such authority. They did not push further. Step by step, Zyra moved past the alley and into a wider street. She bumped into a low wall, but this time she did not fall. She laughed softly, a sound full of relief and surprise. Ethan smiled. "See? You can do it." Zyra looked at him and felt warmth in her chest. For the first time she felt brave. The crowd of aliens was silent. They had watched Zyra struggle and stumble, but now they saw something new. The girl who had been mocked and laughed at was moving forward with courage. And the human beside her, who was not even from this world, had given her hope. Zyra took another step, and then another. She was still blind, but for the first time she did not feel small or weak. She felt like she could face the city, face the world, and maybe even face the aliens who had laughed at her. Ethan watched quietly, proud but calm. He did not boast or shout. He simply stayed with her, guiding her, helping her discover her strength. And somewhere deep in the crowd, the whispers changed. The aliens who had laughed now murmured with surprise and curiosity. Maybe this human and this blind girl were not as weak as they thought. Zyra's small smile grew wider. She did not know what the future held, but she knew one thing: she was not alone. And for the first time she believed that someone human, cared enough to help her see the world in a way she had never imagined. The mockery was not over, but Zyra felt ready. And beside her, Ethan's steady hand reminded her that courage could come in unexpected ways. Zyra moved slowly through the city streets, her small hands brushing against walls and doorways. The mockery from the others still echoed in her mind, but she kept going. She had a strange sense of safety now, for the human boy Ethan was beside her. His hand was steady, guiding her, and his voice was calm and kind. She could feel his presence like a shield. "Careful here," Ethan said softly. "The street splits into two paths. One leads to the market, the other to the open plaza. We should take the plaza, it is less crowded." Zyra nodded, though she could not see him. She trusted him completely. Step by step they moved forward. Aliens in the plaza noticed them. Many paused, staring. Some whispered, "Look, it is the blind girl again," one said. "And the human, why does he bother with her?" Zyra felt her cheeks heat, but Ethan did not seem to notice. He focused entirely on guiding her safely. They reached a small fountain. The water glowed faintly in the alien light. Zyra stopped, uncertain. She reached out and touched the fountain's edge. The water was cool and it splashed softly against her fingers. "It is beautiful," she whispered. I never knew water could feel like this." Ethan smiled. "There is a lot you will learn. I can help you." His voice had a confidence that made Zyra feel braver. For the first time she imagined walking freely through the city, exploring places she had only heard about. A few aliens stepped closer, watching with curiosity. One of them, a tall figure with glowing orange skin, spoke. "Why do you help her, human?" "She cannot see. She is useless." Ethan looked at him calmly. "She is not useless," he said. "Everyone has value. You may not see it, but she has courage." The alien frowned, clearly confused. He had never heard a human speak like that. Ethan continued, speaking softly to Zyra. "You are brave, Zyra. Braver than many I have met. You are learning, growing, and moving forward even though it is hard. That is strength." Zyra felt warmth fill her chest. No one had ever spoken to her like this. No one had ever believed in her. "Step carefully now," Ethan said. "There are some steps ahead." Zyra moved slowly, following his voice. Her fingers brushed the edges and she climbed each step with care. The crowd of aliens watched silently. Some were surprised, others were skeptical. They had expected her to stumble again, to fall and be mocked. But she did not. She moved steadily, guided by Ethan. When they reached the top of the steps, a small garden opened before them. Strange plants with glowing leaves swayed gently. The air smelled sweet, a mixture of flowers and the city's metal scent. Zyra extended her hands, feeling the leaves. "It is wonderful," she said. Her voice was soft, but her excitement was clear. Ethan nodded. "You see, even though you cannot see with your eyes, you can feel the world. You can touch it, smell it, hear it. There is more to life than sight alone." Zyra's heart lifted. She realized he was right. She had always thought being blind made her weak. But now she felt capable, ready to learn, ready to experience life in a new way. Suddenly, a group of young aliens appeared at the garden's edge. They laughed loudly. "Ah, the blind girl in the garden," one shouted. "What is she doing here? She cannot see anything." Zyra froze. The old fear rose in her chest. But Ethan stepped forward, standing tall between Zyra and the group. "Leave her alone," Ethan said firmly. "She is learning. She is stronger than you think. And I will not let you scare her." The young aliens looked at him, astonished. A human, small and young, speaking with such authority. They had not expected this. They backed away slowly, muttering among themselves. Zyra took a deep breath. She could feel her heart beating fast, but she also felt something new, courage. She lifted her head slightly and spoke, her voice clearer than before. I will not be afraid." The words felt strange but powerful in her mouth. Ethan smiled. "That's it. You are learning to trust yourself as well as me. That is important. Courage is not the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it." Zyra nodded, absorbing the meaning. She felt a spark inside her, a small fire of confidence. They continued walking through the garden. Ethan described each plant, each sound, each movement around them. Zyra listened intently, learning to imagine the world through his words. She felt it more vividly than ever. The city was no longer a place of fear. It was a place of discovery, and she had a guide she could trust. Some aliens still watched from a distance, whispering. "She is learning, because of him," one said, disbelief in their voice. Ethan ignored them. He focused only on Zyra, showing her patience and care. Step by step, he was teaching her how to move with confidence, how to trust herself, and how to feel the world even without sight. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the plaza. Zyra reached out to touch the fading light, even if she could not see it. "It feels warm," she whispered. "I like it." Ethan nodded. "Yes. There is beauty everywhere. You just need to feel it." For the first time, Zyra felt hope. She realized that mockery and fear could not define her. With Ethan's help, she could learn, grow, and maybe one day, see the world in ways she had never imagined. She took a deep breath and smiled, though the crowd of aliens still watched. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she knew one thing clearly. This human boy had given her more than guidance. He had given her courage. Step by step, Zyra walked forward, and with each step she felt herself becoming stronger. The city was still full of challenges, but she was no longer afraid. With Ethan beside her, she knew she could face anything. The next day, the city streets were alive with the same bright lights and strange sounds, but Zyra felt different. She was no longer just a blind alien girl who stumbled and bumped into walls. She had courage now, and she had a human by her side, Ethan, who seemed to understand her in ways no one else did. Ethan had spent the night thinking about how to help her even more. He had studied alien technology, observing how their eyes worked, and he wondered if there was a way for Zyra to truly experience the world. But he knew it would not be easy. The problem was not simple. Zyra's eyes could not process light at all. She could feel, hear, and touch, but she could not see. "Are you ready?" Ethan asked gently as they stood at the edge of a busy plaza. Zyra nodded, her small hands brushing his. She trusted him completely. "Today," Ethan said, "I will try something new. It might feel strange, but it could help you understand more of the world around you." Zyra's heart beat faster. She was curious but also a little afraid. "What will it be?" she asked. Ethan smiled softly. "You'll see, or at least you will feel it." He pulled a small device from his bag. It was made of metal and glowing crystals, unlike anything Zyra had ever seen. He held it out to her. "This is a guidance tool. It will connect to your senses and help you perceive the world in a way you never could before." Zyra's fingers trembled as she touched the device. It was warm and smooth. She felt a pulse of energy like a tiny heartbeat. "Will it hurt?" she asked. "No," Ethan said calmly. "It will only help. I'll be with you the entire time." Zyra nodded and took a deep breath. She trusted him. Ethan carefully attached the device to her head. She felt a strange tingling sensation like electricity mixed with warmth. "Close your eyes," he said. "Now listen to me. I will guide you." Zyra did as he said. "Step forward slowly," Ethan instructed. Zyra felt his hand guiding her. She moved, and for the first time she could sense the shapes around her in a new way. The walls, the steps, the fountain, they were not just obstacles anymore. She could feel them, almost like seeing them without eyes. Aliens passing by stopped to watch. "Is she seeing?" one whispered. Another shook their head. "Impossible. Humans are small. They cannot do this." But Ethan did not care. He focused entirely on Zyra, his voice calm and steady. "Walk toward the fountain," he said. Zyra moved, feeling the cool marble beneath her hands. She stopped near the water and reached out. This time she could sense more than just the edges. She could feel the water flowing, hear it softly splashing, and even sense the tiny ripples spreading outward. She gasped in surprise. "It is beautiful," she whispered. "I can feel everything." "Yes," Ethan said, smiling. "You are learning. You are stronger than you think." Zyra felt a warmth in her chest. She realized he was right. She had courage, determination, and now, a new way to experience the world. Suddenly, a group of alien bullies appeared again. They had seen Zyra before and laughed at her weakness. What is she doing now?" one shouted. "She still cannot see. How is this even possible?" Zyra froze, fear rising in her chest. But Ethan stepped in front of her. "Back away," he said firmly. "She is not afraid anymore." The bullies hesitated, surprised that a human so young and small could speak with such authority. They muttered among themselves and slowly stepped back, still unsure. Zyra felt her heart pounding, but she also felt something new: pride. She had faced fear before, and with Ethan's guidance she had not stumbled. She had moved forward even with the bullies near. She realized she could face more than just walls. She could face the world. Ethan led her further into the city, guiding her past the steps, through narrow alleys and into open plazas. Each place she visited made her senses stronger. She could feel the texture of alien buildings, sense the movement of people around her, and even feel the subtle changes in the air as they walked. "This is amazing," Zyra said, her voice full of wonder. "I never knew the city could feel like this." Ethan nodded. "There is a lot more to learn. And one day I hope you can experience even more. Humans see the world in ways that can be shared. I want you to have that." As they walked, Zyra noticed something changing in the crowd. The aliens who had mocked her were now watching silently, some even stepping aside to let her pass. They were surprised and maybe even a little afraid. Humans, they realized, were not weak or ordinary. They could inspire courage and change even the smallest among them. Zyra stopped and took a deep breath. For the first time she felt proud. She was learning, growing, and discovering that being blind did not mean she was weak. She was strong. She was brave. And with Ethan by her side she could face anything. "Thank you," Zyra said softly, looking up at him even though he could not see her. I feel safe with you." Ethan smiled. "You don't need to thank me. You are doing this yourself. I'm just here to guide you. You have the courage inside you already." They continued walking step by step through the city streets. Zyra felt the energy of the city in a way she never had before. She could sense the life around her, the rhythm of the people, the heartbeat of the city. And she knew one thing for certain: humans were not just visitors in this world. They could be heroes. And she was beginning to understand what it meant to have a hero beside her. Someone who would not mock her, who would not leave her, and who would help her discover the strength she never knew she had. For the first time in her life, Zyra believed that anything was possible. The city had never been more alive than that evening. Lights shimmered across the tall buildings, and the streets were full of aliens moving in every direction. Zyra felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had grown braver since meeting Ethan, but today would be different. Today Ethan promised something extraordinary. He carried a new device in his hands. It was small, glowing softly, and covered with smooth, curved metal. "This is different from yesterday," Ethan explained. "It will let you experience the world in a way no alien has before. It might feel strange at first, but I will be with you the entire time." Zyra's hands trembled slightly as she reached for it. "Are you sure it will work?" she asked. Her voice was small, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. "I believe it will," Ethan said, smiling. "You have courage, and courage makes anything possible." Zyra felt warmth at his words. He always spoke as if he truly believed in her. She placed the device gently on her head, feeling the strange warmth and soft pulse of energy it gave off. "Close your eyes," Ethan said. "Listen to me. I will guide you, and this time, you will see through my eyes." Zyra nodded. Her heart beat fast, but she trusted him completely. The moment the device activated, Zyra felt a rush of sensations. Light and color exploded in her mind, shapes and movements she had never imagined. She could see the streets, the glowing signs, the alien people moving around her. It was overwhelming and beautiful all at once. "It's incredible," she whispered. "I can see everything." Ethan guided her gently through the plaza. "Take your time," he said. "Feel what you see. Notice the shapes, the colors, the movement. Don't rush." Zyra reached out her hands, touching walls and buildings while simultaneously seeing them in her mind. The combination was dizzying, but she loved it. Aliens who had been watching before now stared in astonishment. Many whispered among themselves. "How is this possible?" one asked. Another shook their head in disbelief. A human, giving her vision? They had never seen anything like it. Humans were outsiders, usually quiet, but this one had done something no alien could imagine. Zyra took a step forward, then another. She could see the fountain clearly now, its water sparkling in alien light. She reached out and touched it, feeling the cool flow as well as seeing the small ripples spreading outward. "It's perfect," she said softly. Ethan guided her to a narrow street lined with market stalls. Aliens moved about, selling glowing fruits, colorful fabrics, and strange tools. Zyra could see everything in detail now. She gasped at the colors, the shapes, the movement. It was a world she had never known, and she felt like she could explore it forever. Then from the crowd, a group of bullies appeared. They had been mocking her since the first day. "Ah, she is still blind. Or, is she?" one of them shouted. Zyra froze for a moment, fear rising in her chest. But Ethan stood firm beside her. "You can move," he said calmly, his hand brushing hers. "You are not afraid. Go forward." Zyra took a deep breath and stepped past them. For the first time she felt powerful. She was no longer the girl they could laugh at. She could see now, thanks to the human beside her. The bullies stared in shock. They had expected her to stumble, to be weak, but she moved confidently, guided by her newfound vision. Some stepped back, unsure what to do. Others whispered, clearly astonished. Humans, they realized, were not ordinary. They could change the world in ways no one expected. Zyra walked through the market, touching the fabrics, tasting the glowing fruits, and noticing details she had never imagined. Every color, every texture, every sound seemed alive. She laughed softly, a sound full of wonder and joy. "It's all so beautiful," she said. "I never knew the world could be like this." Ethan smiled. "And this is just the beginning," he said. "There is so much more to see, so much more to experience. One day you will not need me to guide you. You will walk confidently on your own." Zyra's heart lifted. She imagined exploring the city without fear, seeing everything for herself and discovering new places. They reached a quiet street at the edge of the city. Zyra paused, looking at the horizon where the twin suns were setting. Colors she had never known filled her mind: orange, purple, pink, and gold. She felt a deep sense of peace and happiness. "Thank you," Zyra whispered, tears in her eyes. You gave me something I never thought I could have. You gave me vision." Ethan shook his head. "I only helped. The courage was already inside you. Humans can help, yes, but you made the choice to trust yourself. That is what makes you strong." The crowd of aliens watching quietly began to murmur. Some were in awe. Some were ashamed. They had laughed at her, mocked her weakness, and now they saw a girl who could see the world, who could move with confidence and wonder, thanks to a human who chose to help rather than mock. Zyra turned to Ethan. "I will never forget this," she said. "Not just the vision, but everything. Your courage, your kindness, your belief in me." Ethan smiled softly. "Then let's keep moving. There is so much more to see, so much more to learn." Zyra felt a surge of excitement. The city was no longer a place of fear. It was a place of discovery, and she was ready to explore it fully. For the first time, Zyra understood what it meant to truly see. She had vision, yes, but she also had courage, hope, and a human hero who had changed her life forever. And somewhere deep in her heart, she knew that nothing, no mockery, no fear, no challenge could stop her now. She took a deep breath, held Ethan's hand, and stepped forward into the glowing streets. The world was hers to see, and for the first time she felt completely alive. The city was quiet in the early morning, though the glow of the twin suns made the streets shimmer. Zyra walked beside Ethan, her eyes wide with wonder. She could see everything: the buildings, the people, the colors she had never imagined. The city no longer felt frightening or confusing. It felt alive, full of possibilities. Aliens who had once mocked her now watched in silence. Some whispered in surprise. She can see?" one asked. Another shook their head. A human gave her vision? The bullies from before lingered at a distance, clearly unsure how to act. Zyra felt a small surge of pride. She had changed, and so had the way others saw her. Ethan walked beside her, calm as always. "You have learned quickly," he said. "But seeing is only one part. True strength comes from courage, from using what you have to make a difference." Zyra nodded. She understood. Seeing the world was wonderful, but learning to face it, to move confidently, to trust herself, that was what made her truly strong. They stopped at the fountain where Zyra had first felt the gift of vision. The water sparkled in the morning light. Zyra knelt and touched it, feeling the ripples spread across her fingers. "It feels alive," she whispered. "Like it's breathing." Ethan smiled. "Everything is alive if you notice it. You just needed a way to connect. Now you have it." Zyra looked at him, gratitude shining in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," she said softly. "You don't need to," Ethan replied. "Your courage, your trust, and your willingness to try, those are the thanks. You have done all of this yourself." Zyra felt warmth in her chest. She realized that he had not just given her vision. He had given her something far more important: belief in herself. The plaza slowly filled with more aliens, curious about the girl who could see thanks to a human. Many approached cautiously. Some bowed their heads in respect, others hesitated, unsure what to say. One elder alien, tall and wise-looking, stepped forward. "We were wrong to mock you," he said. "We did not understand. But now we see. And thanks to him, humans are not just visitors. They are teachers, heroes, and friends. Zyra's heart swelled. She could hear the genuine respect in his voice. The bullies from before lingered at the edge of the crowd. They had laughed at her, called her weak, and thought she would never move forward. Now, seeing her confident and guided by Ethan, they looked ashamed. Slowly, one of them stepped forward and bowed slightly. We were wrong, he admitted. We did not understand courage or strength. Zyra smiled gently. She did not hold anger. She had learned from fear and mockery, but now it was time to forgive. Ethan watched quietly, proud but calm. He had never expected glory or praise. His goal had been simple: help Zyra, give her hope, and show what humans could do. And now, seeing the change in her and the reaction of the aliens, he knew he had done exactly that. Zyra looked around at the city she could now see. Every alley, every building, every street full of life and sound, it was hers to explore. But more than that, she felt ready. Ready to face challenges, ready to help others, ready to live fully. She had vision, yes, but she also had courage, hope, and the guidance of a human who believed in her. Ethan, she said softly, I want to help others like me. Others who are afraid, who feel weak or lost. I want to show them that they can be strong too. Ethan smiled warmly. That is exactly what I hoped you would do. Strength grows when it is shared. And now you can share yours with others. Zyra's eyes sparkled with determination. She felt powerful, not because of her vision alone, but because she had learned to trust herself and to believe that courage could change everything. Aliens in the plaza began to gather around Zyra and Ethan. Some were curious, others inspired. A small group of younger aliens who had once laughed at her, now approached with shy admiration. Zyra knelt and spoke gently to them. Do not fear. You are stronger than you know. Believe in yourselves and you can face anything. The children listened, their eyes wide. Ethan watched quietly, knowing that this moment was bigger than either of them. It was the beginning of a change in the city itself. As the suns rose higher, the light reflected off the buildings and streets, filling the plaza with warmth. Zyra took a deep breath, feeling alive in every sense. She had been mocked, laughed at, and doubted. But now she could see the world, face her fears, and inspire others. She had been changed forever, and in turn she would change the city around her. Ethan placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You have come a long way, he said. And this is only the start. Humans can help, yes, but you are the one who made this happen. Your courage, your choices, your heart, those are what matter. Zyra felt tears in her eyes, but they were not of sadness. They were of joy, hope, and gratitude. The plaza was no longer full of mockery. It was full of possibility. Aliens who had doubted her now whispered in awe. Children who had feared weakness now looked at her with inspiration. And Zyra knew one truth that would stay with her forever. Humans were extraordinary not just for strength or technology, but for their courage, compassion, and the ability to change lives. With a deep breath, Zyra stepped forward, feeling the world fully for the first time. Beside her, Ethan walked quietly, a steady presence, guiding but never controlling. Together, they moved through the city streets, ready for whatever came next. The world was open, full of wonder, and Zyra was no longer afraid. She had vision. She had courage. And she had a human hero who had changed her life forever. For the first time she felt truly free.